Yeah, I mean, I just think that everything's a learning lesson, and anything that's been a problem in the past, I just know not to do it in the future, or I find a way to, get over the hurdle and move forward.
Welcome to Thrive by Design, the podcast for ambitious, independent jewelry brands looking to profit from their products. Get ready to make more and sell more doing what you love without spending every single waking minute doing it. Hey, and if you're a creative, fashion, or product-based business, I want to welcome you to the show. I'll be dropping big tips on launching, growing, and scaling your business so you can spend more of your precious time using your creativity to make money. You ready? All right, let's do this. Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast, episode 201. I am thrilled to be here today to talk about how to launch a one-of-a-kind collection and sell out in a month or less, or even a couple of days, which you're going to hear a little bit more from our guest, Alex Camacho of Acid Queen Jewelry. We're going to hear her talk about how she does launch and release collections. I am so excited to have Alex on the show today. And here's the reason why. When I first met her, she had responded to an ad or joined us for a masterclass or something. I can't remember. And I got on the phone with her, and she is just like one of those people that is so inspiring because she's totally on top of it. And as you're going to hear me talk about in the interview, it's like she reminds me of the kind of person that I was when I was starting my business for the first time, because she wants to do what she loves, but she also wants to make money. And so she uses the tools that she has to build a business, not only as like, a way to make money, but also a way to learn. So she never takes setbacks or things that don't go wrong as like, oh, an I suck moment. It's really about like, what can I learn from this experience to improve and be better? And so that's a little mindset thing. I think that it's really important, like as we start to build our independent brands, or as we start to pivot even in an established jewelry brand, to start thinking outside of the box and use all the resources that we have at our disposal to continue growing, to continue building a brand, to increase our profitability, to continue expanding our audience and trying new things to see how they work so that we can really create community and sales around our brand while increasing our profitability and potential for growth. And with that being said, Alex is a member of our SOS coaching program, and she joined last summer. And she's such a go-getter that within, I think, 5 months, she had crushed her sales goal for the year by an additional $30,000. And this is she's now hiring a team. She talks about having her husband on board, working with her now, and she's just hired another production assistant. And she's just crushing it. Her business is growing quickly. And within a very short period of time, she added an additional $30,000 in revenue. I wouldn't be surprised if she crossed the multiple six-figure line this year. She's just killing it. She's doing really, really well. So if you want to find out how, and this is all selling just jewelry directly online, she has a couple of wholesale accounts, but her primary business model is selling direct to consumer. So if you want to really dial in your business and continue to grow and get that online, using your website as a tool, that online sales piece, your digital marketing strategy, really like tight and right, and you want to grow your business using your website as a tool because you're tired of only selling to stores and you're tired of the in-person live event grind where you're standing outside in the middle of the blazing hot summer or in sideways rain, or I've heard several people getting snowed out. I'd love to invite you to join us for SOS. Our applications are open right now. We're closing applications on May 17th, which is Friday, as we do this. And this is a great opportunity for you to join our community of ambitious designers who are established in business, who are trying to add up to $10,000 a month or more, depending on their business models, to their monthly sales every single month. So the purpose of this program is to really help you train customers to buy from you online, like you're going to hear what Alex does in her launch and release collections, but also build a community around your brand and to create more ease around what you're doing. Because when you're building a business that's based around wholesale, especially if you're one of those people who didn't get in early with wholesale and you're required to consign jewelry or put jewelry on memo or do sale or return, it becomes really expensive. You're basically financing the inventory for the stores that you're working with. And that's a hard business model because as an independent brand, whether you've been in business for a long time or even just a few years, that's an expense that was something that we didn't have to do back in the day. And so I want to help you really recession-proof your business and get to a place where you have a website that's actually working for you, that you're booking calls with prospects if you're doing fine jewelry, and that you're selling products over the phone and through your website, that you are building a robust e-commerce brand if you're selling like lower end, and I'm saying lower end, like things in the $1,000 to $3,000 range for your fine jewelry brand, or selling demi-fine jewelry in like a lower price point with semi-precious and silver, and or costume or whatever your business model. Because ultimately what we're trying to do is to get you adding, every single month more sales to your monthly direct-to-consumer sales. So if you're interested in working with us, I'd love to invite you to apply. You can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/SOS to apply, and we would love to have you. Plus, the 21st of May is my birthday, and I would love to invite you to grab my birthday surprise. You can head on over to get on the wait list. We are giving away a really amazing free resource, which is basically your sales accelerator checklist, which you can grab. And then we're going to give you an opportunity to buy a very special bundle, which is something that we've never done before. We created this very special bonus bundle for one of our courses called Laying the Foundation. It is the story selling bonus. And the story selling bonus is really epic, especially in this day and age, because faceless brands are no more. If you have a faceless brand, just plan on having a vanilla outlook on anything that you do, because people want to know the story behind the brand. They want to know about the designer. They want to be put at the center of your journey, and to know that the brands that they buy from are thinking about the end consumer. And that's what this story selling bonus is designed to do. We're going to give you a sample story selling video marketing plan. We're going to be giving you a bundle of ideas for you to leverage your stories and batch a ton of content all at once. Plus, you'll have templates and resources to create epic video content, a maker video, to get awesome testimonials from your customers, and so much more. So I'd love for you to invite you to download our free resource, which is Sales Accelerator Scorecard. This is really going to show you how you're doing with your online sales strategy and kind of show you areas where you need to improve. And then also, if you'd like to jump in on my special birthday gift for you for a very reasonable price that will be revealed on my birthday, you can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/birthday surprise to find out about both of these resources, plus the story selling bonus. So it's going to be epic. Make sure that you check it out, because my birthday only comes once a year and we want to hook you up. So I love giving away stuff for free. I also love bundling our resources and giving you basically giving it away for free, because it just really warms my heart to be able to offer our community some pretty amazing stuff. So I'm excited because these are great tools to help you grow your business. So before we dive into today's episode, I'd love to do a quick bio of Alex. Alex Camacho is the owner of Acid Queen Jewelry, a line of hand-fabricated modern silver jewelry. Her aesthetic is inspired by her interest in occult sciences, ancient cultures, armor, ritual adornments, and vibrational energies found within crystals. She started her journey as a hobby, pairing bones, chains, and charms and crystals into one-of-a-kind jewelry. She became really passionate about selling her work after she took a jewelry class at the Baltimore Jewelry Center. Alex now lives in Los Angeles with her husband, and she loves all things occult and loves making jewelry. And you're going to find out how her unique process of combining gemstones in sterling silver jewelry with her wax fabricating method, how she develops this launch and release collections that sell out really, really quickly. So we want to help you with that. So let's dive into the episode today, because it's going to be amazing. Well, from time to time, I love to have some of our students and members on the show. And today's guest is no exception to her badassery, because she has been a superstar since she came basically in touch with the Flourish and Thrive community. She ended up joining our SOS coaching program, and she is just a rock star at launch and release sales. And so I want to welcome Alex Camacho onto the show today. Hi. Alex, thanks for being here.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here.
So I'm excited to have you, because you started with us back in August last year. Your business is doing fantastic. And I love how you've just been really open about ups and downs. And one of the things that you came to us for was to help sell your ready-to-wear collection that you have all the time. And we're helping you work on that. But one thing that you're a total rock star at is this launch and release concept. So I would love, just before we kind of dive into that, tell me a little bit about your journey into like becoming a jewelry designer.
So I began making jewelry, I don't know, I think it's probably like 2000, maybe the end of 2012 or 2013. And I started making jewelry just because I wanted to fix my own jewelry. And then I was like, oh, I can put these pieces together. And then people told me I could sell them. And, it was this whole thing, but it started off really slowly. And I moved from Los Angeles to Baltimore to open a record store with my now husband. And while I was there, I've always been really fascinated by stones and gemstones. And there's only really so much you can do when you're putting pieces together with just like chains and jump rings. So I started taking classes at the Baltimore Jewelry Center. And it like really just started from there. My obsession just grew. I started metalsmithing, and right off the bat, even though they tell you not to, I was just like selling my stuff because I was so excited about it. And
why did they tell you not to sell it?
Yeah, I was like, whatever, I can make money. But it's really funny because now I'll give the advice to people, my friends. I'm like, don't sell that because it's not as good as you want it to be. Now you're going to look back on it. And sometimes I definitely look back on my stuff. I'm like, what was I doing? But so from the beginning, I've always been like a business person. Both my parents are entrepreneurs, and I just like to make stuff and make money. So I started from there, and when I started my found object jewelry, it was called Acid Queen Jewelry. So I've had that name from the beginning. And that actually started from a DJ name that I was using when I would like play music at bars. So
you're so cool. I'm like, you're like way too cool for me. I can't even handle it.
Yeah, so I just like brought it through. I'm like, this works. I like it. It's interesting and it's different. So we're going to keep it. And so while I was learning and building my skill set and still taking classes, I was just like slowly building my brand and still selling pieces. And it was in both the found object stuff, but then like my newer metalsmith stuff. And so at the end of, my living in Baltimore, which was 2014, I think we moved back to LA. I was like, I had a brand and I had a following, and I kind of was like, okay, this is something that is viable, I can do. And we ended up moving back to LA. And I actually was like, I just started working for other people because my brand wasn't where it was at, where it needed to be. And then a year after that, I decided to just branch out on my own. And that's kind of when I started, taking more online business courses and trying to really figure out how to make this work for me. But all the while, like I love learning. I love taking classes. I love just, having new knowledge and always working on my skills. So even from that time to now, my aesthetic for my jewelry has changed. The way that I do things has changed. And my outlook on how I run my business has changed because I started off, like I said, I was taking classes, online business courses, not yours, somebody else's. And I just thought that I had to fit into the typical or the traditional way that people ran their jewelry businesses. And what I learned is that I need to make that traditional way fit into how I want to run my business. And in doing so, I found way more success because I'm happier as a business owner and a designer and a creator.
Well, I love that you said that because I am 100% advocate for people building a business based on like what lights them up. It's like, I don't think there's one way to have a successful jewelry company. Some people crush it in wholesale. And while I have beliefs about how it's really a necessity these days to be selling jewelry online to protect yourself from the next economic downturn, I do also think that no matter what, you can build a business around the way you want to do it 100%. And you've done that so well. So kudos to you. And I think the awesome thing is we were talking in the pre-show, you're like training your husband to work for you and you're kind of building a team now, which is awesome because your business is growing.
Yeah, it's been really exciting. It's really cool because he comes from a woodworking background. So a lot of the things that I'm teaching him as far as production stuff is like he already knows. So that's great. And he's really excited about creating a men's line of Acid Queen jewelry.
Oh my gosh.
But it's like the business stuff is a little bit, whatever. But he's really excited about it, which makes me really excited about it. And I'm just, I'm really hopeful for the future and what's to come with it.
You guys are going to crush it. I'm so confident. So you've been successfully selling one-of-a-kind jewelry in this launch and release model for a long time, right? How long has it been?
I was thinking about this, and I think it's only been like 2 years maybe. Okay. And it's something that I started doing. Okay, so let's go back to what I was saying about about the traditional business model when I like for jewelry. So when I first started taking all these courses and everything, I thought that I had to have like specific collections that were made to order or ready to sell, and that I had to have X amount of wholesale accounts, and these are the specific revenue streams that I needed, and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of started off doing that. And to be honest, I wasn't really happy because I don't like making the same thing all the time. It is definitely beneficial to have a production line, especially because I do wholesale, and it is something to go back on. Like, for instance, if I can't make one-of-a-kind jewelry for a month because I don't have enough time or, whatever, it gives me something to go back on. And I always have pieces that are available for sale. But I just, after a while, I started doing these little tiny mini updates where I just had, some wild hair, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make this thing, and I would release it. And I found that it was creating a lot of excitement, and it was building a lot of new customers and new followers because I was creating new things. And so from there, I built it up slowly. So then now I always release a one-of-a-kind collection once a month, except for last month because I was on my honeymoon. But even so, I released my new made-to-order collection. So I still had something going on because I'm crazy workaholic. But so it's just something that's built over time, but now I kind of have like a formula in which I work. And so now my one-of-a-kind collections are usually between 20 and 40 pieces. Awesome. But I just did a mini release yesterday, and that was only 13 pieces. So it's just it varies, but each time I do it, I follow the same kind of formula. And so now it's something that I'm going to definitely continue into the future, make it part of like my brand signature.
So let's talk about the formula. Are you cool sharing that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So does the system for launching your one-of-a-kind collection really work? And how do you kind of map it out and plan it?
So for me, the way in which I make jewelry is unique to some other people. So I basically fabricate in wax, like in soft wax, as I would in metal. Mm-hmm. And so, but I work really fast. So for me, I can bust out, 40 one-of-a-kind pieces in a matter of 3 days as far as the waxes go. And so this formula definitely works for me. But if someone has something that's more work intensive, then they might have to find a different way to tweak it to make it work for them. But anyways.
Really quick, can I ask you something about that? Yeah. When you're doing the waxes, do you cast them in your studio, or are you casting them somewhere else?
No, I have an outside caster that I use that's based in Los Angeles. Luckily, I live like 15 minutes away from downtown. So awesome. Yeah, so I can go to him. We have a really great working relationship. And I think that's something for anybody who is casting jewelry, to find somebody who really understands how you work and is communicating well with you and can work fast. Because I've had casters before, casters in New York, who would take 2 to 3 weeks sometimes to cast my pieces. And if you're working fast and you're trying to keep up momentum, it's really hard to keep that if you don't have someone who's working in the same pace as you. So yeah, so that's what I have going on.
Awesome. Okay. So do you continue with your process?
Okay. So I start with my waxes, and I'll basically, because these are all one-of-a-kind pieces, I have a massive stone collection that I collect from Tucson. I was just in Thailand. I went to Chiang Mai. I found this tiny little gem store that my husband found actually for me. And we went there, and the prices were so good. I just bought 80 new stones. And so I do use calibrated stones for my production stuff, but for these, I just love all kinds of different gemstones. So I really I'll start with choosing the gemstones for both the rings and my pendants. Sometimes I incorporate earrings, bolo ties, cuffs, whatever I kind of feel like doing, or what I've been requested from my customers that they want to see. And from there, I will design my pieces in wax. I make sure that at least a couple, I can document some of it. And I use that to post on my socials for, just work in progress photos. And that really excites people because it's not something they see all the time, is the process and the behind the scenes. It also, they can see the stones, they can see kind of like the designs I'm doing. So it really ignites like questions. I get a lot of DMs on Instagram from people asking me like what it is or what kind of material it is. And, they think it's like clay or I don't even know. So I document that process. And then from there, I cast all my pieces. Usually, because my caster is awesome, it only takes about a week to get my waxes back. And then I start finishing them. So again, then I will document that process and I'll post photos on Instagram like as teasers and on Facebook. Also, I will mention that as far as setting my dates for my releases, I'll kind of set it at like right before I start designing or as I'm designing. I kind of now know how long the entire process starts, but I don't give people like there's not like months notice. Like I don't have a calendar of my release dates. I just kind of like every month I'll pop it into my profile and my Instagram and it says where it is. And then I just kind of make sure that I mention it as I'm posting on my socials.
And so you're like teasing behind the scenes, like next shop update.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then sometimes I won't even do that. Sometimes, I'll post, I'll be like, this is going to be the next shop update. It's probably going to be in the second week of blah, blah, blah. And then people will ask me, but I because things can change. I don't want to have to set a date and then change it a bunch of times, So I kind of just set it and then work around it. And sometimes I set really crazy deadlines for myself and I have to make it work. But yeah, it's not anything that I plan really too far in advance.
Can I ask you another question? Are you emailing your email list some of this stuff too, or how do you work that?
So that comes to the next thing. So once I finish the pieces, I finish them, like I'll finish all the rings at once and then I'll finish all the pendants at once. And because I do work really fast, once I get them back from the casters and stick them in the tumbler, it's only like a matter of days before I have everything patinaed, all the stones set, everything done. So from there is when I'll take like sneak peek photos. And this is only about a week before I'll be releasing my stuff, maybe even less. So a few days before the release date, I will send out an email with a teaser photo saying like, hey, the next update is coming up on this date at this time. Like watch out for an email, blah, 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 blah. And then from there, the way that I have it set up is I call my email list my inner circle. And I kind of use it as a VIP list, but I don't have a separate VIP list. The reason why I do that is I've found that it's too much work to have a separate VIP and an email list. And not everybody who follows me on Instagram is on my email list. So I treat them as my VIP list and they get an email the day of with like exactly the time that everything is released. Like let's say it's 10 a.m. They will get an email with a special link to a hidden page on my website with a password. And then they get special access for 24 hours before anything is released to the public.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so the night before that, I also send another email that says, look out for this email at this time. And I only ever want to send like 2 or 3 emails about this update. One, because it happens so fast. I don't need a ton of buildup, but it also, I just don't want to annoy the people on my list by spamming them too much about it. And I want to keep it like they have to.
I'm going to stop you there. You're not spamming them. You're letting them know about it.
Yeah, but I don't want to maybe that wasn't the right word, but I don't want to hammer it into their heads. I want them to be alert about it.
Cool. Awesome. So you said on the night before, you're going to look out for the email at 10 a.m. in the morning. And then at 10 a.m. in the morning, you send one that says, here's the password, go shop for 24 hours. And then you release it to the public?
Yes. Okay. And so with that, you're creating urgency. You're creating these are only one of a kind. You can only buy them now. You have a special early access only during this time. And a lot of the times I will, for instance, there'll be a specific ring and I only made one of those only in one size or a pendant. And those pieces will sell out fast. And so people have to, but I've trained my customers to know this through
training your customers to buy the way that you want them to buy.
Yeah, exactly. And so then that's basically the process. From there, I'll then release my pieces the following day at whatever time to the public. I will post, something else on my socials, letting everybody know that they're all available, and that, a lot of the time, like for instance, yesterday I released 13 pieces, and by the end of the VIP shopping window, there was only like 6 pieces left. So yeah, so you have, and then you're training those new people like, hey, if you missed this, join my email list so you can have early access next time. But these are the pieces that are still available. So then I still promote them, until they're gone. And then I start working on the next one.
So that is so cool. You have 13 pieces, half of them sell out in 24 hours. And then, because that's a smaller collection launch for you, which I think is awesome. I love the way that you create this anticipation and like basically you're training people like pay attention to the emails that come from me, because if you don't, you're going to snooze, you lose, and you're going to miss that awesome piece that you want. And then I think the other thing that I really love is that like if people missed out on social media, I think it would be awesome. You know what I see a lot of people doing is they're posting a piece of jewelry and it's like a one of a kind and they're like sold or sold out or something in the caption after it sells. And then that way people are just like, I missed it. But then you like, okay, how do I find out before they're released next time? It's a great way to kind of keep them engaged. This is brilliant, and get them on your email list.
And to be honest, treating my email list, my inner circle, like a VIP list is easier for me. But it also is like every time, like I get like 35 new signups when I just make a post that's like, hey, you're going to get early access to this next release that's tomorrow if you sign up to my email list. Super simple. You go to my website, pop up, blah, blah. And I get all these. So I'm building my list while I'm doing these releases and building an anticipation for these pieces, so it's like a full circle thing that is building my brand as I go.
And I think this is really awesome too. And a reminder for people, the purpose of social media is to build your email list and community around your brand, not that to be the place that you actually sell. While you are selling your product on your social media, it's like, that's not the place where the majority of your pieces are sold. It's to the VIP people who are on there first.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm calling them VIP or inner circle people, whatever you want to call them.
They're essentially the same thing. I treat them as a VIP list. I just don't have, I know that some people have, and to keep it like to make sense for other people, I know that some people do have separate VIP lists aside from their email list. So I just wanted to let them know that I have it all in one.
I think anyone who has an email list, you could just call them VIPs, and they're not going to know which list they're on. Just say,
I know, to be honest. And then also it's like, I don't feel like I should have to create, this is just me personally, but I don't want to create, I don't want to have to create separate content just for a VIP list, because all the people on my email list are people who are going to be engaged in my, in what I'm doing and engaged in my brand. So they've already taken that extra step. So to me, they're all special.
They're all special. They're all VIPs.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you do that prevents like things going like haywire or whatever? Like, how do you kind of prevent things? It sounds like you really have a system kind of built, right? Exactly.
I am a highly organized person when it comes to like calendar stuff and like keep, knowing what time things have to be done. I set alarms for myself. We were leaving the gym yesterday and I was like, Joe, we have to go right now because I have to go. I have to finish my listings. I have to do this. I have to send out the email. And then I have to make everything, live on the website. And he's like, okay, calm down.
He's like, chill.
Yeah. So I put I put pressure on myself to make sure that I'm getting these things done. But for me, it's about accountability, and it's about accountability to my customers. And so if I'm not on point, I can't expect them to like trust my brand. And so for me, it's like insanely important that I make sure that if I say I'm going to do something, that I do it. And I'm not like, oh, sorry, this thing didn't work out. And I also test stuff, so because the page that I use for the inner circle release is a password protected page. And I always change the password every month, especially before, like right before release or a couple days before. And so I always make sure that I test my email that sends out, make sure all the links work and that the products are listed. I double check my products. I double check the pricing. And I just make sure that I have everything set the way that it needs to be set. And, I think that it's just about really organizing it, writing it all down, having a to-do list, setting your calendar, setting alerts, knowing yourself and knowing how you work, and being set up to be able to facilitate all of it,
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. Okay. So was there ever a time when anything went totally wrong?
I was thinking about that too. And it's hard for me to I don't know. I don't really recall anything specifically, but the way that I have an outlook on everything is, regardless if it's a negative thing that happens or whatever, everything is a learning lesson. Everything is a way to build, a way to keep growing. And so I think that because I have that kind of outlook, that when things have gone wrong, I fix it. I find a way, I problem solve, and then I make it work for me. And I know not to do that in the future. But there hasn't been anything specifically that's gone wrong. I know that I had some malfunction at one point with some of my listings or something, but I think that was more of a website problem. I think that it's just about, like I said, knowing how you work, being prepared to do everything, checking everything twice or 3 times, however many times you need to do it, and just really learning from every experience. And, nothing in my mind is catastrophic unless my website deletes itself, so.
That's not going to happen. Don't even put that out there. We're
good. I'm going to knock on wood right now. So I just think that everything's a learning lesson, and anything that's been a problem in the past, I just know not to do it in the future, or I find a way to, get over the hurdle and move forward.
That is awesome. Alex, you're amazing. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook at acidqueenjewelry.com. And my website is acidqueenjewelry.com. Or my Instagram is just Acid Queen Jewelry. Sorry.
I think we'll probably figure that out. Alex, thanks so much for being here. You are such a rock star, and you're just such an amazing example of a designer who I feel like I told you this when we were talking for the first time, when I was signing you up for SOS. I'm like, you remind me of me, except I don't have any tattoos. But when I was starting out, because you're just really ambitious, you're on top of it, and you're really taking control of your business. You're not making excuses about why things aren't working. You're troubleshooting and moving forward, and just not taking no for an answer. And you're kicking ass and taking names all the way through. So I just want to congratulate you on your success, because it's just so fun to continue to watch your business grow.
Thank you so much. It's been so fun to be part of SOS and have such an amazing community to be able to fall back on. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, honey. Thank you so much for listening to the show today. Before I sign off, I want to remind you, if you want to grab my birthday gift to you, definitely do that. Head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/birthday surprise. You're going to get a free download from me. It is the Sales Accelerator Scorecard. We're going to talk a little bit more about you accelerating your sales, and to find out where the gaps are in your sales strategy, especially when it comes to online sales. Plus, if you want to jump in on the special offer that we're going to have for our story selling bonus, you can grab it there. And this is your last opportunity to join us for this round of SOS. So I'd love to invite you to apply to our Premier Coaching Program. It's an annual program that is designed to help you really elevate what you're doing in the digital world, so that your business is growing, that you're making consistent sales, that you, even if you have an established business, this program is ideal for, that it's helping you really leverage the power of your website to get more sales every single month, and eventually, add up to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 more in revenue if you're doing it right. So let's do this, because we want to get you consistent monthly revenue that you can count on every single month. So head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/SOS to apply. Take care till next time. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It's my mission to help thousands of creative businesses inside and outside the jewelry space use their creativity to make money. Make sure that you're subscribed to Thrive by Design on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever podcasts are played. And we'd love to hear what you think. Please rate and review the show. And if you're inspired, please share this with your friends. Cheers to seeing you flourish and thrive.